Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Steebee Weebee Show. Kirby. Stan, I didn't forget about you. We have a very special guest tonight. Please welcome DJ Rhettmatic of the Beat Junkies. Come on, Brian. Thanks for coming, man. It's an honor. I've been a big fan for years, man. Big fan. Oh, that's your. Oh, yeah, it's a handheld mic. Yeah. So yeah, man. Thanks for coming.
Oh, yeah, so
well, I can't believe you're here, man. I've been here. I've been knowing about you since the '90s. Just going to the, because there weren't a lot of Asian artists that I could look up to back then, and I somehow found out about your CD. I just bought Key-Cool and Rhettmatic.
Yes, sir.
And you mentioned, hey, can you grab Kirby? And you mentioned this is a special date because it's the
so I guess it's
20 years
or the 23rd anniversary. Mm-hmm. So it came out in 1995.
Wow.
So it's 20-year anniversary was 2015. So
That's
it's 2018.
Wow.
So
yeah. Hey, shout out to Key-Cool, man. More people need to like check him out. You know, he's a ambassador, West Coast ambassador at Asian MC. He one of the first to do it, right?
I guess on wax per se.
Mm-hmm,
I mean, just in general, in terms of, I mean, you know, as growing up, you know, it was a lot Asians, especially on the West Coast, have been involved in hip hop, you know. Mm-hmm. It's just more DJs, b-boys, and graph writers, but there was rare any MCs. But yeah, coming up, yeah, Key was one of the very
first
few
that I heard of.
Yeah. I mean, there's cats from the Bay Area. I mean, if you want,
Lyrics Born too, right?
Well, Lyrics Born. There was this group called KNT.
Okay, I don't. That's
Go ahead. I mean, and then you know you got like I mean, if you really wanted to say the real first Asian per se, or I should say Pacific Islanders, is Booyah Tribe.
Oh yeah, they were hard, man. They were on MTV Raps.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're from they're
Samoans.
They're Samoans, so they're from Carson. So you know,
they're from Carson.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to the Booyah Tribe. Man, I'm a big fan of. They were on wax and everything.
Rest in peace, to Godfather. And stuff I mean,
I remember them, dude.
I mean, back in the days, though, you know, coming up, they were also known as poppers and stuff. So they were known as a group called the Blue City Crew. So if you ever watch this, documentary you can watch on YouTube called Breaking and Entering, you'll see like Boogaloo Shrimp and Shabadoo, who's Turbo and Ozone from Breaking.
Damn, dude, they were dancing and stuff.
They're one of the dopest, but they eventually, you know, became Booyah Tribe. You know, so
damn,
so that's some history. Yeah.
Wow. And then you mentioned, because I you know, you gave me some vinyl and I gave you my older album, and I told you I did production on this thing, and then you already knew facts about it. So what do you know about this particular machine?
I mean, it's because of to my good friend Madlib.
Shout out to Madlib.
It's because of this machine that everybody started using it, because he actually he used this to make Madville and Champion sound with, you know, Madville
this little machine.
Yeah. Especially he was using this in Brazil and stuff.
Dude,
like that.
This is like my baby.
Yeah.
I don't really. I've had this for like a long.
It's the 303, right?
Yeah, this is the 303.
So you really couldn't save anything on this.
No. There's a smart media.
So they did.
Oh yeah.
Oh, because before, you know.
This is the 202. So this is the precursor to that. This is Money Marks.
The version I remember he couldn't save anything on that. So what he did was he basically just recorded on cassette. And then once it turns off, it's gone. That's it. So all the beats he did was on basically on cassette.
Oh, that's even cooler.
Then he transfers everything to the Roland VS880, if you remember that.
Yeah.
So he, you know,
it's hard to find these nowadays, man. If you go online, nobody wants to get rid of these.
No.
These are like, this is a, I mean, I would give up an arm and a leg before no one's getting this. This is my baby. Yeah. You can only get them in Japan, I think, or now. I mean, it's hard.
I think so. I probably, you know, like, man.
Yeah, and then, dude, there's like these effects you could put on.
Oh yeah, you know,
I
mean, have you ever seen like Ross G, or you know, like everyone from all the quote unquote beat scene, you know, they all use that. You know, like Ross G is a master of that shit. You know, it's like, but
he's got the 303 or the 404. He's got this one.
He probably got like they all started with the 303, and then
went up. There's a 404,
404, 505, so 606. But that's the machine, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I want to say Ross G and probably DiBiase, they all like for performance wise, and they make beats with that. With that, but
the producer DiBiase. Yeah. They still mess with this.
Yeah, I mean they go back to any they work using everything and shit.
Wow.
But Madlib, I know, was just the one who was just using that. Like he was just.
I'm a big fan. I like his stuff, man. Quasimodo and everything.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch any YouTube footage when he was in Brazil with Red Bull, he talks about that. That. There's pictures also, like we saw Brazil in Time and stuff with shouts to B+. You know, they talk. You know, I was Madlib, Cut Chemist, J Rock, Babu.
Shout out to all them. Yeah, those are.
They were all, you know, they were digging.
That's your fam right there, right? Yeah.
And that's where Madlib was using.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I that thing is very important to me. And speaking of Madlib, wasn't there another guy? Wasn't Doom using this too?
Doom used. I don't know if he was using it. I know he used the MP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was using
maybe the 60 or something.
No, 2000, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, let's go back to your man. Like, I discovered you in '95, just going to the record store and just buying that album, and then later I bought Galleries, Visionaries Galleries.
Yeah.
Is that your first sophomore or first album?
Well, that's the Visionaries' first album.
Yeah, I used to listen to that a lot.
I would say that's the second album I produced, like the Kiko and Rhettmatic.
Yeah,
that's the first ever production, like produced by Rhettmatic.
Yeah,
like
you had skits in there too. You had a skit where you're like, my glasses are foggy or something.
That was I did that with Razcast.
Yeah. But I used to like lay down I lived in Arizona when I met Mestizo, and then we didn't have a lot. It was like right before Lyricist Lounge came into town.
Right.
But I'm like, there's not a lot of Asian guys to listen to or groups. But I listened to that album like on repeat. I would just lay down and listen to your skits. I'd listen to Zen and Danu.
Word, that's dope.
Yeah, man. So I was a fan, dude. Like, you know, I want people to know, like, these guys, like, if you want to talk about West Coast history, you have to mention these guys are like laid it down for, especially Asian cats. You know,
we kind of like technically we kind of did it, but at the same time, we wanted to like just show that we had skills. You had to, you know, it's kind of like on the coming up. It was like on, I hate to say, on some 8 Mile shit, you know? You really, especially in LA, you gotta, like during those times, I mean, again, Asians were in the West Coast were always involved in hip hop, but it's like, there were pockets, I grew up in Cerritos, so there was a big Filipino American community there, along with a lot of Asian. It was very diverse, but growing up, it was almost like a bubble. Each scene had a bubble and stuff.
Like South Bay, Long Beach, yeah.
But if you really want, and of course coming up there was also Asian scene. But but if you really wanted to go see some dope hip hop shit, you got to go like to LA proper. You got to go like Hollywood and like whatever whatnot. And when you coming from the 562 area or 213 at the time, coming from like, even though we're like LA County, we were not, like we were like outskirts coming in there. We're like, who are you guys? Like that.
Oh, they were like that towards you?
Yeah, kind of. But of course they were, because like who, like we were new cats. But even when I was coming up, going to like clubs like United Nations, Funk Jungle, there were very few Asians. There were Asians, but there were very few,
Wait, doing MCing and producing and stuff?
DJing, either just in this. I mean, They were doing it in pockets, but going to the actual, like, even like when you go to places like United Nations, where it was thrown by Africa Islam and Ice-T, you know, and Zulu Nation,
Zulu, shout out Zulu Nation,
Rhyme Syndicate, which is Ice-T's crew.
Divine Styler too, wasn't
Divine Styler was part of that. You know, so
I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah,
I like his
like anyone that was, especially during those times in late '80s, early '90s, there was that was the thing where, you know, like like that was the dope shit. And you rarely get to see any. I mean, you see a few Asians. Mostly it was like black Latinos, you know, some whites, and if there's Asians, they're like very pockets, and then some from Japan and shit.
Right, lighter shade of brown. I remember them.
They're IE. They're from the Riverside area, like that. Right. You know, they were like.
But they had a single around.
They had a single, yeah, but it was more like
just party radio.
Jams. I mean, it's like it's you know, hip hop. There's like anything. There's it's almost different styles and stuff like that. So, but what I was talking about, like United Nations and funk jungles and whatnot, is that Water the Bush. That was like, you would see like Def Jeff, Divine Styler, De La Soul, Grandmaster Caz, Big Daddy Kane, you know, these, you know, just the heavy hitters. You know, then you see dancers like the Soul Brothers and Scheme Team and stuff like that.
They were at the events. Like
This is you know, this is like,
This is in the 80s.
This is like late 80s, early 90s and stuff. Yeah. Like even before, but then even before then, you know, of course you got K-Day, you know, 1580 AM K-Day, and that's what, you know, a lot of us that grew up here, regardless of what nationality, you can ask Cut Chemist on Hood, he grew up listening to K-Day, you know, and that's basically the first 24-hour rap station, quote unquote rap station in the United States, and that's where you hear. They were the first ones to play, of course, anything from New York, but then, of course, Egyptian Lover, Dr. Dre, when he was World Class Wrecking Crew.
That was a while ago,
you know, like King T. I mean,
I remember King T. Yeah, he was hard.
I mean, you wouldn't be surprised when you listen to K-Day. You would listen not only Earth, Wind, and Fire, but you would also listen to hear Debbie Deb. You would listen to hear Mantronics, but you also listen to Run DMC, Egyptian Lover, Alexander O'Neal or Prince. You know, it was just
they mix it up.
It was mixed it up, but it was like, but that's where we grew up and stuff. It was like it was basically one of the black stations, but it was on the AM station.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, right. So, and of course, there's like, if you've seen Straight Outta Compton, the NWA movie. There's a part where they go to World on Wheels. That's one of the clubs that we listen. You know, you listen. You hear it on the radio.
Was that the roller derby?
Yeah, but that's I was too young to go there. Plus, it was too dangerous. I was like, either it was World on Wheels, and there was a Skateland. It's one. I forgot which one was like either Crip or Blood.
Oh, damn.
You know, so it was, for me, coming from Cerritos. My parents, you know, wouldn't let me go like outside Cerritos. You know,
were there Asian gangs out there where you're at?
There's Asian gangs. Yeah, there was definitely, like I said, like, well, Carson, you know, like Booyah Tribe, they were Bloods.
Yeah, they were Bloods. Yeah, I was just gonna say I don't know much about it, but I.
Yeah, there's there were Filipino gangs. There was like
Bahala.
Yeah, Satanas. But I mean, of course, you know, and of course, there's the blacks and the Latino gangs and stuff like that. I mean, the '80s was crazy.
So when did you start getting into the DJing and turntablism and all that?
Basically, '80s. Well, coming up, you know, I was lucky to experience hip hop when it first came to LA or West Coast, like around '83 and stuff. So when I first started, I was most likely a popper and a graph artist, and then then cats also were kind of back then. You did at least 2 to 3 out of the 4 elements right there. So I kind of was like, you know, those are my 2 things, and I got DJing. So I was kind of doing 3, but DJing more was, as time goes on, DJing became more of my passion and stuff like that.
Where'd you dig and where'd you get all your records from back then?
Shoot. At the time, locally wise, besides Tower Records, Music Plus, Warehouse, Aaron was a little bit later.
Oh, later,
because I was living in Cerritos, so in high school wise, whatever, or swap meets, like, or there's a store called Norwalk Record Sales. There was a store called Temple Records. It was mom and pop stores, and I remember what you call it, Easy E dropping off records and stuff like that.
Dude.
You know, Easy E
Rest in peace, man.
Yeah. I mean, he was from Compton. He had a house in Norwalk, which is like kind of like right next door to Cerritos. So when they were getting more bigger, he bought a house in Norwalk.
That's
and
sick.
We used to hear about like Eazy walking around Cerritos Mall and shit like that.
Yeah, that's sick. He's like just slanging his 12-inch.
Yeah. I mean, also because also the local swap meets and stuff. And then in Gardena, there's a swap meet called the Rhodium Swap Meet.
Okay.
So the Rhodium swap meet, shouts to Steve Yano, who's a Japanese American. Rest in peace.
Oh, rest in peace.
Yeah, so he's the guy that actually probably like sold these, had a record, selling records in Rhodium swap meet, and basically was famous for selling all the Dr. Dre mixtapes.
Dang, dude, that must have been a great time.
Yeah,
huh?
so I mean, definitely a Japanese American that was like at the time during those days, he was the only one. He was the guy that basically like Dre would get his records from. Like he used to sell these records called Ultimate Breaks and Beats.
He'd get his drums from that.
All of Straight Outta Compton album was all from Ultimate Breaks and Beats, and Steve Yano was the only person in the West Coast that were selling those.
So they're very hard to attain.
I mean, to get at the time, it was like you think there was like 23, 24 volumes. So that's like, imagine just to buy like one album was like what, at least $15.99. So imagine
how many breaks were on there.
Think of it, just so one album, probably at least six on one side. So 12 probably. 12 breaks. Yeah, and then think about 24 volumes.
He would just loop it up, huh?
Yeah.
How did he beef up the sound so like? Dre's got a distinct.
Well, he definitely
production style.
I mean, he definitely had an engineer named Donovan
to pump up to
help him out.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say, everyone, people have loop breaks, but to make it sound.
Yeah,
like
he was already. I think he was just a wizard.
Yeah,
just like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Dre. A lot of people don't know Dre. Dre was a dope DJ. So he grew up. I grew up like he's one of the cats I grew up listening to.
Records.
Listening to him on K-Day or whatever mixtapes or like that. So yeah, man. So.
I ran into him. I used to work at Amoeba in 2003.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I was a cashier, and they put me in the warehouse.
It was when he came in. I heard about this when he came in and they closed down the store. And
I was there, dude. Word. And I just wanted to meet him, but I was so nervous. I go, man, I'm just, I think I gave him a demo, but I was so nervous. I gave him one of my CDs. He goes, "How do I reach you?" I go, "Oh, there's an email." He was gonna peep it, but I just at least he was back there sitting at a wooden desk.
Yeah, he was digging.
And then he had his own. He had his own control of whatever records. People were just bringing him stuff.
Shouts to John Lou.
Yeah. Oh yeah, John Lou. I work with John Lou.
Yeah, John.
Yeah, from Aaron's Records. John Lou. Yeah,
he's the hip hop.
Yeah.
But he told us the story.
He's got some knowledge.
Oh, he's the man.
I mean, he was very quiet, but I always liked him.
He's the man.
He's the man. Yeah. So shout out to John Lou and Karen and Jimmy for hiring. Oh, thanks for hiring me. I got fired eventually, but I was there and. Working there, I mean, just going back to this is interesting because nowadays DJing has changed so much. The game's changed, and I like the fact that you have your own school as well, right?
Yes, it's called the Beat Junkie Institute of Sound. Mm-hmm. It's in the city of Glendale here in California. Mm-hmm. It's our own brick and mortar DJ school, so it's our headquarters and stuff. So. We've been open for almost like a year now. Dude,
I gotta dap you up for that. That's great. So, fantastic.
If you asked us 25 years ago, I mean, we opened up last year in honor of our 25th anniversary.
That's sick, man.
If you asked us 25 years ago, we started a DJ school, we would like looked at you crazy because coming up as a
that makes so much sense though.
Well, I mean,
right?
now it does, but back then, you don't want to share your secrets. Oh, you know how it is. It's like
I didn't. I had homies that DJ'd, but they were weird with me even going around their stuff, and now I'm their friends with them.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of like on some like unless you crew, unless you paying me, you don't show your stuff to the competition.
That's
and stuff
like your
but
that's like Jedi secrets.
Yeah, like, some Shaolin kung fu shit.
That's
you
like
don't
the technique.
Yeah, but now it's like
But you guys are openly sharing these techniques?
I mean, because in order our culture to survive, you have to share. As we got older, we realized we need to share this. You know, it's like
it's knowledge too as well. You want to keep
it's the culture and the knowledge.
Yeah.
So
tell me how if someone wants to attend your school, how do they like get involved with this?
Well, we have a website called beatjunkiesound.com. You can always come to the school too.
Beatjunkiesound.com.
Yeah.
Definitely go to that site. And how much is let's say Bryce wanted to take a class. He knows nothing about turntablism.
Nothing.
Will you take him?
Oh yeah, we teach anybody that's whether it be you're a beginner or you're a veteran. Like we basically, you know, we even have cats that come in just to train. We teach it more like martial arts kind of.
Oh, like a dojo. You're in a dojo.
It's almost like, you know, like we're building a community. We want you to like we won't promise you to get a gig, but we'll promise you to have a passion for it. And you know, we want you to have fun, you know, love with it. And usually as you get older, you realize it's about passion. And if you have something that you love, then the rest will come. You just can't, you know, like, but that's what we think we want to do is just to teach you the culture, and then and also at the same time, like, you know, give you something to, you know, that you might fall in love with. We look at this as a lifetime journey.
That's great, yeah. Because it's endless, right? Like the way.
Even if you get to say if you even get to be a black belt, you still you're still a student. You know? Yeah, I'm still learning. You're still learning? Oh hell yeah! I'm still learning how to teach.
What?
I'm learning. It's like
this guy's one of the guys too.
Yeah, I'm still like.
Since Beat Junkies, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about how that was formed, when it was formed, how did you gather all the members and all that? Because that's a monumental crew there you have, West Coast crew.
The crew was formed in 1992 by J-Rock.
Shout out to J-Rock.
Yeah, we call him the Funky President because literally he's like the James Brown on turntables. And he pretty much was the one that started the crew. So who
are the members then? The original members?
I mean, there's
Babu, you.
I mean, there's 13 of us originally.
Shortcut in there too?
Yeah, Shortcut's in it.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that Shortcut and D Styles were also members of the Invisible Scratch Pickles, were junkies before they came Scratch Pickles. So they have dual membership.
That's cool. As well as you though too, because you've been in collaborative group. You've been because you're in Visionaries too, right?
Yeah, but that's a rap group.
Right. I want to get to that in the future too. But like going back, like how'd y'all meet? Just on some homie homie.
I mean, just basically. Well, some of us grew up together. Or at least around like in the area, like Cerritos, Long Beach, Orange County. During it's almost like in the ending phase of the mobile DJ scene, whatever, like around 88, 89.
How do you define the mobile DJ, just for the viewers who aren't familiar with that terminology?
It's almost kind of like the same thing, kind of like as like you're doing weddings, whatever, whatnot. But at the same time, we were also doing mobile, like throwing your own parties and stuff like that. So cats were from different crews. I mean, if you heard like Hubert or Mixmaster Mike when they talk about their scene, it's almost the same thing. Cats were in different. They had their own mobile DJ crews, do the parties, have the thing, and at the time, and then eventually, cats, during that phase, like the late 80s and into the early 90s, everybody was phasing out DJing. It was more focusing on the MC, the rappers and stuff. And at one point, people didn't want to be DJ; they wanted to produce or whatever. And we were only a few cats who were still DJing and stuff.
You guys kept to it.
Yeah, so we kind of all of us came from our respective mobile DJ crews or whatnot, and we start seeing each other, DJing parties together or whatever. It's just saying, and like, hey, I met Jay at a record store and stuff like that with Curse, who's also an OG beat junkie. There's 13 of us.
Crazy.
But I mean, when it first started, it was like at least 13. There was like 13 of us.
Similar to b-boying, wasn't there a time in b-boying where it phased out?
Yeah, it kind of went underground. I mean, it's the same thing now. Like, it's funny. It's like you would like when basically we were kind of like. When K-Day went off the air, the mix masters and stuff like that, they were like, we were kind of based upon them too, as because the ones who were in the mix master was Tony G, Julio G, Joe Cooley, DJ Aladdin, Battle Cat, Trey Ski, Ralph from Funk Dubious.
I was just gonna say Ralph from the Mexican.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Funk Dubious, man. And he came into me, and I gave him I gave him respect. I go, hey man, you're Funk, because I love the beats on Funk Dubious. They were sick.
So I mean, so you know, like they were like the ultimate, you know, they were like kind of like the ultimate DJ crew next to, say, Uncle Jam's Army. You know, but when they went, you know, when Kelly went off the air, it was like, you know, there was a void. So we kind of like we kind of somewhat patted ourselves on, you know, like an all-star crew and shit coming from like that. But
that's cool, man.
But ironically, you wouldn't know that at the same time in the Bay Area you had the Scratch Pickles, which was
they were up there.
Qbert, Mike,
Mixmaster
Apollo,
Mike,
you know, like and then of course in New York, you had the Executioners, or the X-Men. They were known as the X-Men.
The East Coast.
East Coast. Right. So you know,
Rock Radar,
rest in peace, Rob Swift, Mr. Sinister. You know, like.
Were you guys always cool with them too? Like just mutual respect.
I mean, we start once the quote unquote like around 91, 92. You know, battles went kind of underground.
The DMC.
It was DMCs. There was the New Seminar, Superman battles. You know, there were videotapes kind of running around. You know, like started floating around. I mean, obviously, as a Filipino American, I mean, when Qbert won, you know, the USA and went to the World Finals in '91, that was just that just kind of opened up the doors and stuff. You know, as a Filipino American growing up,
that's it. You guys.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have no heroes. Either you had your parents, and you had Qbert.
This is before Pacquiao and stuff.
This is before Pacquiao. So I mean, you know, and
Qbert was the guy.
Yeah, but I mean, I knew of Q because of Grapevine. We had same friends, whatever, whatnot. You know, I actually met him through because in '91. I was part of the Rocksteady Crew LA chapter.
Oh, you were?
Yes.
Oh, that's sick.
So they were part of they were Rocksteady DJs. So they were part of, you know, the Bay Area, the Frisco chapter.
Dude, that's crazy.
So, you know, in the LA chapter, I was in it. Rocker from Dilated People was in it. B-Boy Easy Rock, Zulu Gremlin.
Shout out to Easy Rock. That guy's been around. He's still around, right? Yeah.
You know,
how'd you get down with those dudes?
Same thing. Hip hop scene, just kind of like just.
Wow.
Yeah, you know.
Did they ask you to? Hey, we want you to.
Well, they were like, kind of put out. They put out the word and stuff. You know, a little bit like they were like.
That's a huge honor. Dude.
No. Like, you know, so you know, it was crazy. You know, and that's how I met Q and Mike and Apollo, but of course, you know, it's also I met Crazy Legs, Doze, and stuff like that. You know, it was crazy. You know,
that's crazy, dude.
It's crazy. Yeah, you would, as a Filipino kid growing up, you know, getting to meet some of your heroes or people that you know, like just it's crazy. You know,
like they're thinking that about you now.
I don't know.
People at your school, they're like, I can't believe this guy's teaching me, right? Right? Wouldn't you? Like if you did some kind of back history logging and like you would know that this guy is a foundation, big part of the foundation.
Well, I'm just lucky to be just grateful to be still able to do what I love to do. That's what I look at it.
That's sick. And then how did you get involved with the Visionaries? Because we had Tumex. Shout out to Alex. Tumex was on here. Yeah.
Well, it's crazy. So Junkies was in 92. Visionaries are pretty much kind of like 94, 95. I met Key around 93, 94. He was hosting, emceeing some Asian parties too. He DJs too, kind of, but you know, he was doing his own thing. Cool. I kind of heard his name here and there, like like. Who's Key Cool? Like, you know, like again, like you rarely hear any of you. There was few Asian.
This is before Gin. Before Mountain Brothers.
Before Mountain Brothers. I mean, Mountain Brothers came maybe a year after, like when they put out their
maybe
9 because our record came out in 95, so they probably maybe 96 maybe.
Oh, okay,
you know. I'm sure they were making their noise.
I like
in Philly.
Chops, dude. I like his production, dude.
Chops is dope.
He's sick, dude.
No, they're all dope. Like, they're all dope. I remember, you know, like same thing.
Shout out to Philly. You know, I think he's my homie Mestizo ran into him on the street.
Oh, word.
He's like, oh my god, you know,
I know he's doing like a lot.
Man.
He's doing a lot of production for like. I know at the time he was doing a lot of shit for Trap Cats. You know.
Yo,
like,
that's sick. Yeah, his production's good, man.
Yeah. For real.
So they're Chinese, right?
They're Chinese.
Okay,
So Kiku's is Japanese American. I think I don't know if he's I think he's Sansei, you know. So I think he's either second or third generation. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know. I think so he came up from the Gardena Torrance area, some South Bay area. So
your single is Can You Hear It? Can you hear it?
Well, so Can You Hear It was our side A single, but
okay, I remember that. They had a video, right?
Yeah. But we had the B side was really that got us our
was that the posse cut?
Yeah.
Oh, with Ganja Kid was Ganja.
No. It was Razkaz.
Okay, Razkaz.
Voodoo,
Voodoo,
and Elemental. So that was the first time, and the last time. Like Raz used to be in a crew called Western Hemisphere with Voodoo and Mean Green, and he just got signed. He was about to get signed to Priority. He was going through patchwork. I knew Raz when he used to be known as Raisin as a dancer. He was a dope ass dancer, and he was dancing with.
He's sick. Yeah, dude.
But so who introduced him to me was my man Kalani from the Scheme Team, Divine Style and the Scheme Team. So rest in peace to Kalani. Yeah. He's from Carson, and he would tell me, "Yo, man." You go, yo, you got to check out my boy Razkaz. Little did I know that I was Raisin and stuff. So I knew him as Raisin because he used to, like, again, he was a dope ass dancer. I think he used to dance.
Was he pop locking and stuff?
He was freestyle dancing.
Oh yeah, like house kind of. Yeah, but he was doing, with the fluorescent light. Yeah.
But he was doing crazy moves. Like he would like literally run, jumped on his head and slide across the floor, doing backflips and shit.
He was a b-boy then, no?
He was kind of doing some b-boy moves and shit. Yeah. But Raz was dope. But then when
explain to him what freestyle dancing is, because I'm sure these kids don't know.
I mean, it's like some.
That was in the '90s, right?
Yeah. I mean, look up Soul Brothers. Look up Scheme Team. Look up Mop Tops. Mop Tops is more the East Coast, but like the big heroes during those times was the Soul Brothers, who used to dance for Def Jeff, and Scheme Team, who used to dance for Divine Style.
That's what's up. Yeah.
So, but
that dude was tripped out. I love Divine Style.
Yeah. But that's how I knew about Raz, and then Kalani introduced me, and then that's when I also, at the same time, that's when I started I finally met Key. Originally I was supposed to just produce for him. By that time also too, because like what a lot of people don't know, my introduction into the music industry was actually being the DJ for this group called Brotherhood Creed.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
They had a song called Hell of a Hell,
I don't know if I remember that one.
No, it's one of those it's one of those it's the same sample that Lighter Shade of Brown used for Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Oh,
don't. Well, I mean, some people know.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into the music business. But when I got out of the group, I wanted to learn. It was a good experience for me, but I had a lot of bad memories because of because of the music industry. You only see what you see on the videos and whatever until the behind the scenes shit.
What was the biggest difference, like when you're like really in it? Like?
I mean, of course you see like I mean, I was on Soul Train when I was on with like that.
Wow.
Like, but
that's crazy.
But then you just not, if you're not you just star-eyed, like naive, and just you think everything is right there, and you don't know the business. You get taken advantage of, or or cats can cut you off like that. And even doing music that you thought you were gonna do, but you weren't going to do. So once I got out, I went back to really what I really wanted to do. So it became more and that's how I met Key. And then originally I was supposed to produce some tracks for him and stuff. I actually reconnected with them through an old school buddy of mine who was managing him at the time, and we just talked. And the next thing you know what, dude, why don't we just be a group?
Yeah,
because it's like
Cosmonauts.
Yeah, it came up. Originally, Cosmonauts was supposed to be a production group name for me. And, actually, my best friend, who was also part of Brotherhood Creed, when he left the group, we were supposed to just do beats, but I just said, why don't we just call ourselves Cosmonauts, because it's something.
I like that.
That's
what stood out to me. I'm like, what?
Because we're just because we're venturing out. Like,
I thought of you guys like astronaut, maybe astronauts.
And then like I said, and it was cool because like
I loved it. Cosmonauts.
And then lucky to it was when Raz was starting to make his buzz. I was able to get him on the album. Had Saphir on the album.
Dude, was Saphir on there?
Yeah,
he's one of my favorites, dude.
Saphir was on the song called Shapeshifters.
Man.
This is just
shout out to Saphir.
This is just when we were able to get him.
Before Boxcar Sessions.
This is right after Boxcar Sessions.
Because that album is one of my favorite albums ever.
This is also when him, Raz and Exhibit were starting to hang out also too. Also,
man, that was
because I met Exhibit through Raz.
Wow, so man, this is good. Let's just pause real quick. Do you guys know anything we're talking? These guys look so long. These guys have no idea. We're talking like alien jargon. Yeah. These guys have no idea what's going on.
I don't know if you know who Razkaz is.
No, they don't know. Put it this way: the last 30 minutes, they're just like,
holy shit.
I have no idea what. Are they talking English?
So, do you know Exhibit though?
No, they have no idea what you're talking
Exhibit
about.
is like, I hate to say it, everybody knows him from Pimp My Ride, but Exhibit is originally from he's part of the Liquid crew. He was also he's down with Dre, Aftermath, and stuff like that. So he's the current host for the Pharmacy on Apple.
Dude, Alcoholics was one of my favorite West Coast groups. I looked at them like the Far Side or any of those groups.
Coming up, got to see like.
You know those two, right? Okay, thank God. He knew the last two.
Okay. Do you know who Dilated Peoples is? No.
All right, we get George back in here. This kid, I'm just kidding. We love you, Chris.
It's all good. Well, anyways, I'm probably dropping too much.
Yeah.
But so anyways, so you're right. It was like we were the first on the web, especially. I mean, we kind of same thing. Lyrics Born came out too at the same time.
He's still here.
He's still killing it.
10 albums, dude.
Yeah, but with Lyrics Born, he was known as Asia Born. So he was known as Asia Born, along with he's part with
Latif,
DJ
that
Shadow.
album was sick too. The ones where they're both on the cover. That album was sick.
So I mean, I knew about Asia, of course, Herb Magazine and all that stuff, and we used to get all this stuff. Shouts to Jeff Chang.
Shout out to Jeff Chang.
Yeah, because he's the guy did a lot, help put the Shadow, Black Alicious and all those guys. He was part of their crew and stuff like that.
Is that Quantum?
Yeah,
I'm a fan of that too. Yeah.
So shoot,
going back to Herb, is that still around?
Nah.
Well, explain to the viewers what URB. So explain to the viewers what that is.
Herb Magazine was like a local LA thing that became a big fanzine, but a magazine of all of culture. Raymond Roker was the publisher, but they did things on whatever was like house, rave, all the rave culture, but also did things on underground hip hop stuff. And then people like B+, a well-known photographer, Brian Cross, Brent Rollins, Jeff Chang, a couple of people like that who started writing all the articles for the hip hop on there, and eventually went on to do stuff to go to rap pages in the Source and like that. A lot of OG hip hop journalists did a lot of stuff on Herb Magazine. Jeff was one of the first people to do interview on Keaton and Rhettmatic and stuff like that. Dude,
that's sick, man. So it was just refreshing to see that. I still remember the cover. It was black and white. It was a picture of you two.
Yes.
And I remember even it was in the middle.
That was Key's tag.
Yeah, it was like it's a graffiti tag in the middle, and it was black, and it had a rectangle. You guys in the middle. Yeah.
So it was like So I mean, we came out at a time where we were independent, because
who put that? What label put that?
It was Up Above Records.
Oh, Up Above. Yeah, that's right. Up Above.
And so basically, we came out at a time where it was just like, if you want to do it our way, you had to put it out yourself and shit, and luckily, I mean, like I said, the posse cut was called E = MC5.
That's right. Yeah. Wasn't that the last song on the album?
No,
it was later on the.
It was in between.
In between, okay.
But it was a B-side. It was the B-side of Can You Hear It?
Okay, yeah.
But that song was pretty much got our respect in the LA underground. Like
that song.
That particular song, because we started playing. The Baker Boys played it. Mike Nardone.
Sick.
Like like all the college radios and the mixed hip hop shows in LA at the time were playing it. So and of course, if you watch the video, like on Can You Hear It, you'll see cats like well respected West Coast MCs like Sophia was in it, Razkaz was in it,
Yeah.
Born Allah, Mean Green. I want to say AC Alone.
Is it on the internet where people?
Yeah, you can.
So okay, so if you type in Kiko and Rhettmatic, can you hear it?
Yeah.
On YouTube.
YouTube.
And then definitely check out that video, and you'll know what he's talking about there. Yeah.
A little bit. It's more a little bit more jazzy, whereas the B side was more rough and rugged.
Yeah. And then you did all the production for the whole album.
No. Can you hear it? I didn't do that.
Okay.
But I did at least about 70 to 80% of the album. You know, and
what did you produce on back then?
SP1200.
Oh, you had the SP12.
Yeah, I just was one of the. It's like,
whoa,
yeah. Oh man, that cost me. That cost me.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. How'd you get the when? Why did you get it? When?
So the EMU SP1200 machine, drum machine sampler.
Explain to the viewers what that is.
That machine is probably is the machine that pretty much all the classic hip hop shit has been produced by. Everyone from Dr. Dre to DJ Muggs, we're using the first 3 Cypress Hill albums, to Diamond D, to Lord Finesse.
Money Mark's got one too. Shout out to Money. Money's got
Pete
it.
Rock.
Pete Rock and CL Smooth.
What do you call it?
Large Professor?
Large Professor, Marley Marl, you know. So
maybe Prince Paul?
Prince Paul had one.
Yeah, he probably had one. Yeah. Shout out to Prince Paul. Shout out to Prince Paul. We love Prince Paul.
Yes, I
on
love
the show. Yeah, we love Prince Paul.
Yep, Paul.
Yeah,
buff guy.
Yeah, we love Prince Paul.
So, when they stopped making it, it came back out. The original version is like gray. Before that was the SP12, and it only had 5 seconds, and they didn't have even a hard drive. You had to buy a separate hard drive, and it was those big floppy disks, computer floppy disks. How
do you even make a beat with that limited time, dude?
So the SP1200 is only 10-second sampling time, but in a small floppy disk. So you remember those big the SP12 had the big Commodore floppy disks, those big ones when the computers first came out.
Yeah, that's way back.
Yeah, now
but then the
smaller ones.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, these ones. Do you have it?
No, well, they kind of look like.
Well, yeah, kind of.
Really,
well, anyways, they're 3.5, whatever. So, it only had 10-second sampling time. So, you really had to be really creative with that. I mean, Madlib. Again, shout out to Madlib.
Yeah.
He used the SP1200 and did the Loop Pack album with the SP1200.
He did.
Yeah.
Didn't he produce for the Alcoholics too?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I could have sworn he did. He was on that first joint.
He was on. He did on his first
Costa
album.
Coast. Was he on Costa Coast?
He was on Coast Coast.
Okay.
He did WLIX.
Yeah, that was a great. Yeah.
I want to say he did Mary Jane on the first album. So,
damn.
But anyways, yeah.
So let's go back. That's interesting to me because what do you say now? Because nowadays there's computer programs where you have all the time in the world. To sample. So would you say that forced you to be more creative? Because you're like, okay, I have literally a second to loop this perfectly.
Basically, you had to like, if you had your turntable
with the break,
you put in a +8, the pitch control at +8 and 45, sample it, and then you had to detune it to slow it down, and then since it's a 12-bit sound, you got that crunchy thing, and then you had to chop it up and whatever you can, and so it's like you only had a certain amount of time to get more time, you speed it up and then slow it down.
So you had to speed up the break too?
Yeah, sometimes you have to even you have to like turn off the turntable and spin it real fast to get it, and then sample it, and then slow it down, truncate it, and all that shit. So yeah, but basically,
it's a sampler, right? The SP12 is a sampler
drum
right?
machine. It's a drum machine sampler.
It's sequence.
There's a sequencer on there.
But it doesn't loop like these things.
You got to loop. It loops. You got you had to loop it yourself because the sequence. If you're,
I'm sorry. Look at their face.
I'm sorry.
Okay, keep going though.
No. He's
So if you're using I guess if you're using say.
I love it.
Do you know how to use Pro Tools?
I'm barely starting with that.
He's more Premiere, Adobe Premiere.
Final Cut?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the day we saw. Yeah.
Okay, so Final Cut. So let's say you can just like, if you copy paste, just it's like, and for us it was more of a sequencer. So you had, so it's like it's a metronome going. You tap it out. Say it's 89 BPM. It'll go for 4 bar measures, and you whatever you tap it out, it comes back again. You add. Yeah. So it's layering it. But then sometimes you tap it out. If you chop up the drums, you kick and snare. You can program the beats itself. Plus on top of the loop you make and stuff like that.
Now, do other producers like today that still do it that way?
I mean, obviously, I noticed that a lot of younger kids are trying to go back into more of the, try to learn about the analog gear. Because a lot of us that started with analog, or the quote unquote analog gear, or like the drum machines hardware, we still apply it to using softwares, but we because of what we had to go through, we now know what we use on a software. Right. Of course, being hard, like at the time being hardcore, like you can't use a computer like that. Yeah. Now it's like, dude, it doesn't matter what you use. It's really what's here and what if it sounds dope.
Right. So like I take it you still produce as well as do the turntable.
Yes, sir.
What nowadays? What are you using? Are you doing a bit of both?
In terms of,
as far as your gear, like what you're using?
Well, like my current production is I use propeller head Reason software. I need to get into Ableton.
Yeah, everyone's on Ableton.
I know Ableton. It's because Ableton is there's no right or wrong way to use it, so it gets overwhelming. But I just really need to but Reason's been what I've been using.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, it does it.
But I go back to I go back using the SP1200 and MPC 2000 just like last year. I went back to I used the SP1200 for the first time like in 10 years or so.
Dang. It was dusty, huh?
No, I still keep them clean.
Oh, you still keep
but it was just to actually use it. Like it really took me a hard time. Like I had what the fuck? I was how did I use 10 seconds? It took me a hot minute to get really used to it.
Go back
because when you have so much at your disposal, you're spoiled.
Yeah.
I had to be like, okay, I really have to be more picky, and I had to be like, I had to go back to using your imagination and really it forced me to really like to be more creative. You have to be more creative, and stuff. Not saying you don't have of course, the more stuff you have, you can do a lot of stuff, but just to have less makes you be more. It forces you to be more creative, and then sometimes the best shit comes out because you only have this much.
I love that, man. I mean, this guy, it's like talking to an encyclopedia. I would like to take this time, since these guys don't know what the hell's going on. I'm just curious, what questions would you ask Rhett? Because they don't know about the stuff we've been literally talking alien language.
About the graphic. You said you were in graphic design before?
Oh, well, I was a graph artist. Graffiti.
Yeah, graffiti.
But I was. But I did go to school to try to be a graphic artist. Like I got an associate's degree, but like
there you go, Steve. There you go.
Okay, I'm just having fun with you, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to add you guys.
Yeah,
Chris, you always have good questions too.
I was learning before, while I was still going to school, I did learn how to use Photoshop and I was getting used to use Illustrator, but then after that I was like,
yeah.
Can you use that in your albums for art cover and stuff?
You know what? Obviously, all my friends who do that, they still does it, but but I kind of like, I'll have an idea. I'll still tag. I'll do pieces here and there, but I haven't really drawn as much as really gone into it. Just was like, at the time it was like when I was going to school for it. My first love was actually drawing. But I got burnt down on it because it was not when you started going to school, and it was just like,
you're doing art classes.
Did art classes, you're trying to do your best work. You put it up there and they critique it, and it's like, no, that's not what I want. And it's like, at the time, how back then it was so rigid. Compared to now, it's like, and it wasn't fulfilling me. It wasn't fun anymore. Whereas I was still DJing too, and that was like my outlet. So I was having more fun with that. Even my parents were like thinking,
yeah, well, how do you keep it down at night? Will you just do it through the headphones?
When I was in high school, man, I used to practice, and they were like,
how many hours would you practice like on a typical night?
Man, a good 4 to 6 hours.
4 to 6.
Yeah.
Chris, you got a question for Rhett?
Yeah, I got a question. What was the last beat you produced using the old school gear?
It was like last year. I did. It's on my Bandcamp page. Mm-hmm. It's called.
Oh, you got a Bandcamp?
Yes.
Okay, what's your Bandcamp? Let's get that out too.
Rhettmatic, RHETTMATIC.bandcamp.com.
That's what's up. Hey, dude. Let's say a kid like studies you and like, oh, I like what he did. I like his style. Like, do you slang beats, or like if someone wants to work with you, like how do they?
I got to a point where like like before, of courch back then, try to shop my beats.
No, but nowadays they can just hit you directly, dude.
Yeah,
you know
but I don't. Now I only work with people that I can either vibe with. I don't, or like I'm fans of. I don't really. I'm not looking to shop my beats anymore. If the people want to buy my beats, it's
what if they seek you're sought after? Like if they see this episode, they're like, we really like his stuff, man.
But it goes back to also not to sound. I don't want to say snobbish or anything like that. I prefer to work with people that I know or like I'm a fan of, or I at least can vibe with, because it got to a point now. It's like you don't want your name associated with certain things just because.
You respect that, Chris? Yeah. I respect that, man. Yeah, because that's
just like, I learned it the hard way. You can work with anybody, but then sometimes it's like are you co-signing that person? Like that, even though are you doing because they're giving you money, or are you really?
Or do you like the
work?
Project?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I got to a point now. Is I think everybody in this room is, if you're an artist, you really just want to work with people that you feel.
Compatible with, it makes sense.
It doesn't matter at this particular point. Even if they offer me a lot of money, I won't do it unless it's like
you believe in the project.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want to endorse something that I don't believe in.
Right.
And I think everybody would agree with that.
Yeah, no. I get it. I totally get it.
And no disrespect, because because I know and I'm honored if people want my but I got to a point where it's just like. I like to work who I like to work with. That's it.
Right. Are there musicians or artists that you haven't worked with yet that you would like to work with? Like, what are some of the future projects you would like to collab?
Future or just, people I've dreamed?
Just dream collaborations, stuff that like.
I mean, of course, in terms of MCing for rappers or MCs or like that. I mean, everyone from Redman to Rakim, Nas, Kendrick Lamar. It's funny. I've never done anything with Planet Asia, and we always talked about it and stuff like that. But just I'm not like Madlib or Ono who makes 30 beats a day.
They do that?
Oh yeah, that's like nothing to them. They make 30 beats a day for real. They make albums just to make albums for them just to listen to themselves. They don't like Quasi. That's how the Quasimodo album was. I don't know if you know about.
That's mind blowing.
I don't know if you know about the story about the Quasimodo.
Please explain that. I mean, I'm sure the viewers, because I'm sure there's Quasimodo fans out there.
So Madlib doesn't like his voice, so he made Quasimodo. He made the Quasimodo album while on shrooms. He speeded on his 4-track, to speed up his voice because he hates his voice. And he makes albums for just him to listen to. That's it, right?
Sure. Does he trip out a lot when he does this thing?
I mean, he's just a genius in many ways. And so Peanut Butter Wolf heard it just on his pair. What is this? Oh, this is some shit I just fucking around.
Just a side project.
And Wolf is the type of person, if he likes it, he'll put it out. So he
probably saw the brilliance in it or something. Yeah,
and he said, you put it out, next boom.
What is the character like? Because there's a cartoon character.
Well, Jeff Jang made the character.
He created it?
Jeff Jang is the art director of Stone's Throw and stuff, and did a lot of, So he kind of like... It was like the brainchild of him, of him and Madlib. He would listen. At one point, Madlib, Jeff Jang, and Peanut Butter Wolf used to all live together and stuff like that. So
how do you sit there? I mean, he must be so dedicated to making music that that's all he does.
Honestly, that's all he does. I mean,
or going to the record shop, coming back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't seen Otis in a long time, but that's That's what he does, really.
Yeah, I saw his Red Bull Academy interview.
That's all he does.
Yeah, it was
like
intriguing to say the
that's
least.
all. I mean,
you guys Madlib fans?
cricket.
What's going on? But okay, so anyway. But no, I'm a fan, and I just love hearing those stories because for producers out there, they're probably like, maybe they're like, oh, that's what it might take for me to get that good.
I mean, I guess in anything, like if you you're like you're a skater, you're a martial artist, you definitely have to put in hours.
Let's go back to let's relate that to turntable. Like when I was how many hours would it take to get to how good you are?
I don't know. I would do it for 4 to 6 hours, like after homework, even to a point where my parents was like, "Go to sleep." Are you going to DJ and scratch all day? You better go. Hey, is that going to be your daytime job? You better not. You better go to school.
Yeah. So they were on. When did they start supporting it? Though?
Honestly, maybe I would say 99, 2000 when I finally invited him to my first show, which was probably the best thing I did. Was like, because even then when I was in the God bless my dad who passed away in 2009.
Peace, man. Yeah, rest
I
in
remember
peace.
when I told him like I want to try this out. I need to do this. Like I want I'd rather have your blessings, but if not, I'm gonna do it. And luckily he says, as a man, I understand. So he said, I'll talk. My mom still wants me to go back to college.
Yeah.
Like whatever.
Well, my girl, she's Pinoy too.
Yeah,
and, they're really
well, Asian parents in general.
Oh my God, it's nurse. You're going to be
you're
a nurse.
Be a doctor. You're going to be an engineer. You're going to be an architect or a nurse.
It's not even for the kids. It's for them to feel good about.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like messed up.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah.
But no. Well, I think when it was the Watermouth tour, it was Jurassic 5, Dilated Peoples, Beat Junkies, MC Supernatural, and Brickestra, and it was at the House of Blues here in Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah, right there, about near the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Rest in peace there.
Yeah,
it's no longer there, but
so I finally said, you know what?
It's a good venue, man.
I invited my parents and my uncle and aunt to go check out the show, and just like, you know what, you guys been like,
you got them tickets.
I gave them tickets, the VIP, and like, this is what you want to see. What I really do. This is what I do.
Yes.
They didn't understand it, but then all of a sudden they're all tripping out, like how oh, there goes Rhettmatic's parents or something like that. And then it's funny,
the audience members were saying
they kind of figured it out who they were, whatever. And then also like my parents, they're like people that acquaintances or friends of theirs, sometimes even people that they don't even talk to now come up to them and says, hey, they're like, why are they talking to us? And then they're like, our son wants to meet your son.
Oh, yeah, that's when they knew.
They started kind of knowing things.
Yeah.
And at the time, I really didn't, unless you knew, I never really said anything.
You seem, I don't know you that well. You seem like a humble dude. Like
I really would never want to talk about it unless you were in the scene. I wouldn't like if a Joe Schmo didn't know who I was, and that's cool. Unless they know who I, then okay. But I kind of like it like that, where I can, like they know my work. Like a graffiti artist. Yeah. They see my work, but they don't know who the person is.
You started getting coverage though too. Now I remember you were like getting on magazines. Weren't you getting in Herb too? Yeah.
It was cool. Like of course I wanted to represent me as a Filipino American, but I wanted to also represent me as a hip hop artist. Like a cat that was like, I don't want to be known as like an Asian hip hop artist. I want to be known as a hip hop artist that happens to be Asian.
Yeah. No, you're a musician though, dude. Yeah. Because what you do with you're a musician, dude.
Right. But at the time, they had there was a Latino rapper, there was a this and that. I didn't want that. Coming up, I didn't want to be known as like, he's an Asian American and be pigeonholed. I wanted to be known as like, he's a dope DJ, he's a dope producer that just happens to be Filipino. That's dope. I wanted to break that stereotype and stuff, like, because usually there were cats coming up, especially in the Filipino culture. Our cultures are very, a lot of very talented people, But at the time, you know, we were also known as being imitators. We can imitate anybody, but there was no originators. And you know, in hip hop, you have to be original. Yeah. So I wanted to come out there. Like, you go, when I would go to like Filipino American talent shows, and they would cover a lot of R&B or rap songs or dance and stuff, but
there's amazing singers too.
But they emulate.
Right.
There was no one that was original. So I wanted, at least for me, I wanted to go out there and represent, like, yo,
originality.
They like, you already know that. Well, he's not. You know, I'm not black and Latino. He's some type of Asian. You know, we don't know what is he. You know, is he Samoan or is he whatever? You know, like I want. You know, I wanted to show, like, he's. You know, like I wanted to show that I got skills and being and especially coming in the hip hop scene in those days in L.A. They you know, of course, they'll look at you kind of like, who, you know, of course they're like, who's this Chinese guy or whatever, whatever.
Oh yeah, you didn't even talk about that. There was racism.
But
back then.
In some ways, right. But then when you show you got the skills and you had the heart and stuff, they respect you. And the irony of it is, like, I'm sure in the Asian community at the time, they would kind of look at you like, you know, at one point they were used to like, oh, you want to be black? You're a fligger? You know, like that?
That ain't the case, so you're
but you know,
it's an art form too.
But so but you know, it's, of course, as Asian Americans growing up in LA and especially, you know, we gravitated towards the, you know, hip hop because, you know, it was something different. We relate to it in many ways, you know, and I have to say, hip hop made me appreciate my own culture.
Right,
you know?
right.
You know, of course, you get with Public Enemy, you know, with Kid Frost with La Raza, you know, you talk about your own, you know, like, well, why, you know, like, why should I be not proud of what I do? And then like someone like, say, shouts to Bamboo, that's my padre, you know, like him representing, you know, the Filipinos, you know, like he's a dope MC, you know, and he's very, very active also with the Filipino community and stuff like that. You know? So anyways, there's a bunch of Filipino MCs now, like too, right? Like, I mean, same thing, just Asian in general, you know, like, again, going back to Kiku, one of the first, you know, Japanese American. If you listen to our album, he talks about, he did a song called Reconcentrated, and he talks about the concentration camps. Yeah, you're right. Japanese internment camps. His parents, you know,
gone through that.
Gone through that.
That's cool, man.
And ironically, in some of the Asian American studies in UCLA, it was used in UCLA.
That's cool, man. So is he still doing music?
Yeah. You know, he's just like may as well let out the cat out of the bag, but we are working on a new Visionaries album.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, can we talk about it a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, so new Visionaries album coming soon. Elemental,
Tumex, Danu, Lord Zen, Kiko, and myself.
Yep.
We're like kind of like the United Benetton.
I've always been a fan, dude. I've always been a fan.
Multicultural crew, but you know, same thing. We represent LA. Same, you know, like just.
So are you guys recording right now?
Yeah, we do. I mean, just it's been almost 10 years, I think.
Yeah.
Almost 10 years at least, like we have since we had a new album. You know, everybody's been doing their own thing. Life happens too also. You know, some have solo albums. I
can't wait to hear that.
With this particular album or EP, I don't know, it could be EP, it could be album. I'm actually this time doing all the production on this one. Usually it's usually Kiko and myself, and then we get J-Rock and Babu.
Cool,
but this one,
man.
just to get back into it, just, you know, I you know,
how you prepping yourself?
I don't know. The way I look at it, what I told the guys is like, just don't overthink it.
Just have make fun, the beats, man. Like, you guys had fun back in the day.
Yeah,
you know,
just
the skits and everything.
I mean, we still got, you know, of course, but you know, a lot of our fans, God bless you guys, are still asking for albums. So I'm not trying to I'm not trying to overthink. I just want to have fun. Yeah. And then just put it out and then see what happens. Yeah, man. Don't like, we're gonna go on tour. No, there's just.
Yeah, just put it out.
Just put it out.
Yeah. So are you producing? Are you staying up now and like are you working on that?
I mean, I got some like
you got because you the school too.
I got the school.
Yeah.
We just launched our DJ online school, beatjunkies.tv. We have a digital record pool, beatjunkies.com, and we also have Beat Junkie Radio, which is on Dash Radio. So like you said, I'm in a couple of other groups. I'm in Cypress Junkies with Eric Bobo from Cypress Hill. It's a DJ percussion crew.
That's sick. I'm a Cypress Hill fan myself. Yep.
Cypress Hill album's about to drop.
Shout out to Muggs too.
Yep. I'm also in a crew called Dirty Disco Squares with Prince Paul and Mr. Land.
From Company Flow.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that too.
Yeah. So Mr. Land now DJs for Everlast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have a project with Divine Styler, Everlast?
Yeah, well, that's the new album's about to drop. Well, Everlast, like they're on. Everlast, Sick Jackin', and Divine Styler. They're called War Machine.
War Machine. That's it. That's right. I saw that on the internet. And I'm like, oh, that's sick.
Everlast is dropping a new album called.
I'm happy he's still. I like his country stuff too, man.
It was called Whitey's Ford's.
Yeah, Whitey Ford's.
No, it's called
the
Whitey's.
Blues.
The new album is called Whitey's Ford's House of Pain. It's a combination of both House of Pain Steez and Whitey Ford shit.
Wow. Dude.
Evidence producer cut, Divine Styler, and I know, of course, there's some Whitey Ford stuff. But
that's cool, man. Yeah. It makes me happy that you guys are still doing your thing, man. You know.
So cats from our era are still doing it. It's just like maybe not as big as like in the '90s, but but
who are some of the artists? Some of these up and coming youngsters. Do you even listen to?
Oh yeah, I mean,
new stuff that's going on.
Well, it depends on it. Like if. I don't disrespect all the younger cats. I mean, I understand it, and there's a time and place for it. Of course, there's like whether it be Migos. I mean, I'm not mad at the Drake album. Of course, Premier produced cuts on it, so that's why I like it. Of course, you talking about the new cats. You of course Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole. But then of course you got like cats like Royce the 5'9" still doing it. In terms of just producers wise, I mean anyone from there's so many cats. Nico Beats, Drugs, Anderson .Paak. I mean,
just goes on and on.
Goes on. I mean, Sango, K Tronada, Derringer, who's down with Griselda. I mean, the whole Griselda crew with West Side Gun. I mean, there's also these cats called Dirty Diggs. Man, there's so many dope. Here's the craziest thing I would say about today compared to last year. Yeah. Back then, you would have to really dig for it because there wasn't shit to look. It was hard to find shit. Now, there's so much shit. You have to still dig for it and find what the shit you have to look for that you like.
Right.
Cats complain is hip hop is dead. It's not. The people that said hip hop is dead is my generation. Most of them are married and got kids and have responsibilities, and they don't have time to really literally dig.
Right, for the new stuff.
But if you really, like I always say, if you really love this shit, you look out, especially with now the internet. There should be no excuse. You can
just digital, upload it.
You just gotta find. You just have to dig for it. You gotta find whatever one. Same thing. Look, once you find something, start researching and stuff.
What are some of these upcoming DJs as well? Because I know that I didn't really tap into that, but there's vast differences nowadays. Because these people they're not even bringing turntables anymore. They could just bring their iPod or their laptop.
Well, it depends how you look at it. I mean, the turntable. I mean, shoot. If you're looking at it in terms of clubs, I mean, if you go to, of course, like you're going to bottle service clubs. That's why that's one thing you're gonna hear all that stuff, right? But then there's like LA's been really. We've been really for the last 10, 15 years. The music scene here in LA is incredible. Like there's so much stuff going on. It's like you can hear, like on the weekdays, you want to hear. Well, unfortunately, Low End Theory, like last Wednesday was the last.
It's done, right?
It's been done. It's 12 years. That's a place to go where all to hear the cutting edge stuff. But for reggae, there's the Dub Club. During the summers, there's Do Over. On Fridays, there's Do It with DJ Expo over at the Shortstop. You would hear. Once in a while, there's some one-offs like Selection. Shouts to Selection. They be throwing some, like they got their own movement. That's another movement in itself. There's so much shit going on that for anybody, for everybody, anybody that really wants to hear whatever you want to get into. In terms of the battles and turntablist scenes, it's coming back, especially with the what they call the portablist scene. The portable turntables, everybody's cutting on those.
Wow!
Yeah, so it's like a resurgence.
There's a scene with that.
Yeah, you know those Newmark portable turns. Yeah. Cats are cutting
they
it.
Used to sell those at like turntable.
Now it's
lab
like the cats are like modifying it, and you can have faders on it and cutting it up.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so cool.
You got, I mean, battles and stuff. I mean, look, the 2018 world champion is a 13-year-old kid named DJ Reina from Japan, kicking ass.
13 years old.
And him and his another cat too, also K Swiss from New Zealand. Mm-hmm.
13 years old.
Super beast DJs, kicking ass.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Hey, DJs is depending where you're looking at. DJs are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If someone wants to start DJing, like, what are some tips you could give them? Like, just
well, it's expensive hobby, that's for sure. I would suggest to learn on turntables before you go on CDJs or controllers. I get it because it's expensive and stuff, but I guarantee you, if you learn on turntables, especially with now Serato, still you can use like you're almost using wax, and learn the basics. It's like anything, like you learn how to skate, learn how to fight, whatever. Yeah. Learn how to draw. You got to learn the foundations, and then you got to put in work, and then go from there. That's all I say.
Cool, man. How we doing on time?
We're a little bit over an hour.
Oh, we're over an hour, dude.
Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
Sorry.
No. To end it, I wanted to. Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate that.
No, thank you.
Can we give some plugs and your social media, upcoming events, if you wanted to say all that now too?
Yeah. So y'all can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Rhettmatic, RHETTMATIC. That's RHETTMATIC. That's both Twitter and Instagram. Rhettmatic.bandcamp.com. That's where you can hear some music. I have an album I did with Aloe Black that came out, and originally we did in 2009, but I put it out like 3 years ago.
Cool, man. Is that on your Bandcamp?
Bandcamp page, you know. Of course, beatjunkies.com, beatjunkiesound.com, beatjunkies.tv. And
then shout the school again.
The school, yeah. Beat Junkie Institute Sound. That's the school. That's just in the city of Glendale.
How much to take a basic class?
I can't tell you that.
Oh, okay.
You got to call.
Okay.
But also follow the Beat Junkies. Twitter is Beat Junkies. Instagram is the Beat Junkies. And then from there you can you can go link to our other social medias, like they're like for the Beat Junkie School and Beat Junkie Radio, Beat Junkies TV and stuff. So yeah, we're
handles there.
We were trying to take over the world.
That's cool, man. That's cool. And then when should they expect the Visionaries album to be completed?
I hope I can finish it before we all can finish it before this year's over. I know, but I don't want to rush it, because if you rush it, sometimes it's like right. Just want to just have fun.
There you go, man. Hey, thanks for coming by. I have to do a couple shout outs myself.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad, man. I think I'll talk to you after as far as who you think would be a good guest on here, because I want to educate people on like the past as well as the present with artists, right? And I have to give a shout out to the Patreons. There's no new. I did them for the Wee Man one. But if you want to join the Patreon for this show, go to patreon.com/Steebee Weebee. You could also check out some music I'm doing. I'm working on a new project, Collage of the Mirage, at Steebee Weebee. It'll be at Steebee Weebee Bandcamp. I like Bandcamp, actually.
Yeah, Bandcamp's the shit.
It's cool. Because we'll talk later, but I'm not going to put it on iTunes for this one. Just because I don't.
Bandcamp.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go Bandcamp. Yeah, I'm gonna go all Bandcamp. If you want to follow the Steebee Weebee Show, go to Instagram /QUANGOU. And let me see. Yeah, and then make sure to get my homie Mestizo's new album, Mestizo, with the Heavy 12's Big Bad Death at fake4.bandcamp.com. And definitely support the homie.
Yeah, shout out to Mestizo.
Yeah, shout out to Mestizo. And definitely get that album. Thanks again, brother. Appreciate it. There's no Little Ray this week. It was last week, but it'll be next week. I'm working on my thing, so. Let me just explain. People have been asked about the Lil Ray puppet show. Since I'm working on my own solo project, most of my energy and time is going into this project. So we're doing Little Ray every other week, right, Bryce? And then Bryce is back. Okay.
I'm back, guys.
Yeah, Bryce is back, and dude, thanks again, man.
Thank you.
I'm very happy with this episode, and it should be out in 2 weeks.
Word up.
Okay.